It's easy to create a book directly from within Lightroom via the Lightroom book module and blurb. In this video, you'll see a straightforward workflow for preparing your images for inclusion in a book. So I always start over here in the library module, and I make my selection, and once I've made my selection, I create a collection. In this case, I've already done all the work, and I have a collection called Mendocino Road Trip, and these are all the images that I want to be included in my book. Now, I've also organized them sequentially the way I want them to be in the book, but that can be changed later, as you'll see in the book module. I think it's just a good idea to get it in the ballpark here. It's so easy to click and drag and move images around and see everything at once in the grid view. So I highly recommend you do some of your organizing here, with the idea, of course, that once you're in the book module, you can change your order at any time. Okay, the other thing I suggest is over here in the metadata panel, make sure that certain fields are filled in. For example, I always make sure that the creator field is filled in. You can also add titles and captions. And as you'll see when we get into the book module, this streamlines your workflow. You don't have to do it, but it can really make things go quicker once you're in the book module, depending on how you lay out the book. And once you have your images organized in the library module, you want to go over to the develop module, and this is where you want to do your basic processing to make the images look good, whether it be color changes or sharpening or just exposure changes. So this is where that's done. Now there's one thing that's really useful in the develop module, especially when you're going to print, and that's the soft proofing option that we now have in the develop module. Let me show you how that works. I'm going to move over to an image like this. Right now we're looking at this image on a monitor. This is not how it's going to appear on the printed page necessarily. It might, but I want to make sure. And the way I can do that is using one of the develop module features, which is called soft proofing. Down here in the toolbar, all I have to do is select soft proofing. And if I come up here on the right, you see this little icon here. I want to make sure that's turned on. It's going to give me a warning if I'm out of gamut. And if you're going to be printing to blurb, you want to set your profile to sRGB. That's the color profile that your images will be printed in using the blurb process. So this is really simple to set that to sRGB. You don't need any special profiles. And immediately I can see by the red, see the red areas here? That's telling me that those are out of gamut. Well, a printed page will never look the same as a display, but the colors won't be the same on the printed page. But frankly, that's not bad. This is not something I would worry about. There might be some other images where there we have colors that are really out of gamut. So when I see this, I can do a couple things. One is I can just ignore the whole thing and just, see what I get when the book comes back. Or I can go through and use some of my develop module tools, either desaturate or change the color slightly, and try to get those colors in gamut. It's really up to you, and it'll be your choice. But do use the soft proofing feature in the develop module. That way you'll know better what the image might look like when it comes back as a book. You're ready now to go into the book module and get to work making your book.